Have you ever been in a meeting or maybe even a tense conversation and you notice something kind of strange? It's almost always the person who's saying the least who seems to hold all the cards. Well, today, we're going to dive right into the psychology of silence and figure out how it can actually be your most powerful tool for gaining control and respect. So let me ask you this. Who really is the most powerful person in any given room? Is it the person who's dominating the conversation? The one who's always got a quick answer, making sure their voice is just a little bit louder than everyone else's? Or is it someone else entirely? I mean, think about these two types of people. We all know the person on the left, right? The one who fills every single available second with words. But the real power, it's so often with the person on the right. They're not arguing, they're not rushing to prove a point. They just stay silent. And what's crazy is that when they finally do speak, everyone in the room stops and listens. Why is that? And that right there brings us to the central paradox of power. We're sort of taught to believe that being loud and winning arguments, that's what strength looks like. But honestly, that's a huge misconception. See, here's the core idea. True power isn't about volume at all. It's about control. It's about having control over your emotions, over your reactions, and maybe most importantly, control over your own words. And silence, well, silence is the ultimate expression of that control. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you can use it strategically. Okay, so how does this actually work on a psychological level? I mean, how can just saying nothing create such a powerful effect on people? It really all comes down to how our brains are wired. The thing is, the human brain absolutely hates uncertainty. It's an old survival mechanism. And silence, it injects a massive dose of uncertainty right into the middle of a conversation. I mean, just imagine you ask someone a direct question, and instead of answering, they just... Here's exactly what starts happening inside their brain. It just starts racing. They're thinking, oh no, did I say something wrong? Are they judging me? Maybe I should explain myself a little more. And that, right there, is the key. They rush to fill that uncomfortable void that you've just created, and in doing so, they often reveal way more than they ever planned to. Just think about it like this. Your silence becomes a vacuum, and the other person feels this intense psychological need to fill it. You don't have to say a thing, and they end up doing all the conversational work, a lot of times exposing their real intentions or their weaknesses without you even having to ask. Now, let's talk about perception, because it's not just about what silence does to the other person, it's also about what it says about you. I mean, just look at this comparison. On one side, you've got all the signals of insecurity. Talking constantly, always looking for validation, filling every single little gap with noise. Subconsciously, that tells people that you need their approval. But on the other side, the signals of confidence are the complete opposite. Just being comfortable with silence shows that you are in total control. That's the message you're sending without saying a single word. It's this powerful, nonverbal statement that says, you're self-assured. You don't need to scramble for words to prove your worth. And people, they instinctively respect that. And there's another layer to this. Mystery. The person who talks too much, they basically lay all their cards on the table. They become predictable, easy to read. But the person who's selective with their words, they create this kind of aura of mystery. And people are drawn to what they don't fully understand. They start to pay closer attention because they believe that when you do speak, your words have more weight. Okay, so we've talked about the psychology behind it. Now, let's get practical. How can you actually start applying this stuff? Here are 5 key situations where choosing to stay silent is probably your most strategic move. So let's break these down. First, when you're angry, silence prevents you from saying something you'll definitely regret. When someone's trying to provoke you, it starves them of the reaction they're desperately looking for. In a negotiation, right after you state your offer, the first person to speak usually loses leverage. If you want to gain respect, let your rare words carry more weight. And finally, if you really truly want to understand someone, just be quiet and listen. Silence lets you see so much more than their words ever could. So the thing to remember is this isn't about being shy or passive. Not at all. It's about wielding silence as an active, strategic tool. Honestly, it's like a superpower that can completely transform how you influence other people and how you gather intelligence. So here's a challenge for you, starting today. Just try to speak about 20% less in your conversations, and instead double down on just observing.
Use silence with purpose, not as an empty space, but as a strategic pause. And just watch what happens. I think you'll be amazed at how people start revealing more to you and treating you with a completely new level of respect.
Let's be absolutely crystal clear on this final takeaway. Silence is not weakness. It is the ultimate form of control. It is a quiet, confident display of power. And when you use it correctly, it's one of the highest forms of intelligence. So, as you go into your day tomorrow, into that meeting, that conversation, that negotiation, ask yourself this one simple question. What will your silence say for you?